Hey everybody, I'm Joe, and today I'm going to be answering the question regarding House of the Dragon. It's obviously an awesome show that is out right now, and we're going to be talking a little bit about why this show has the exact same theme music as Game of Thrones in the intro. So, let's roll that intro and let's talk about it. So, there's a couple things that people noticed when the show came out, especially in episode 2, and that is when they have the intro, we see a whole bunch of new visuals that feel kind of like Game of Thrones, but are definitely different. It's not showing us a map; it's showing us kind of abstract bloodline, blood streams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But why did they choose the same music? So we're going to get into a discussion. Wyatt is here with me. He's a faceless man on the microphone.
I'm here.
And we're going to talk about the intro for House of the Dragon. But first, I do want to answer the question to the title of the video. And I want to reference this one quote that was said by Raymond Jawadi. So someone asked him why does it have the same music? And he said, I think it's a good example of tying back the old material with the new, Jawadi said, as a franchise to just connect all of these stories together. And so that's basically it in a nutshell. They could have created a brand new one, but I think in a lot of ways, people loved Game of Thrones so much and people felt so nostalgic. And we know music is like one of the core nostalgia triggers that people have. So, in theory, to get people sold on this new story in the timeline of Westeros and kings and queens, they needed something to remind us of the thing that we loved so much, the story that we were so invested in. And honestly, it's a simple answer, it's a simple concept, but at the same time, I'm sure it was a hard choice to be like, we're going to have the same music. We're not going to try something new. Now, Wyatt had an interesting, before we saw that the new intro was there, or even I think maybe after, you had an interesting critique for that. Do you remember what it was?
A critique for
what the intro music could have been for House of the Dragon. Do you remember you were talking about like Targaryen things?
Oh yeah, I thought the Daenerys theme in Game of Thrones was very much kind of the idea that people have of Targaryens.
Yeah.
I figured something along those lines for a theme going into the show about Targaryens would be interesting. It would have been, because they're supposed to be kind of alien.
Oh yeah.
In Westeros, in the books they have purple eyes. They, are just, they're different.
Yeah.
They bond with dragons. They have the white hair. They're alien to this land.
Mm-hmm.
They're different. And I figured I thought that the intro was going to be something kind of like that.
Yeah. But instead we got this similar music and new visuals. I would like to kind of explain, I'm not going to break down all of the visuals, but I am going to relay some information that I learned. If you type in like breakdown House of the Dragon intro, there's a lot of cool videos that explain it better than I'm going to do today, but don't go away. Wait until after this video to go watch those. I want to kind of introduce you to this concept before you see all the breakdowns. First things first, I couldn't, for some reason, I'm pretty good thinking abstractly, but I couldn't nail it down in my head. And all someone had to say was literally bloodlines.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I didn't make that connection. So obviously, this is going through the lineage of the recent Targaryen family, the Targaryen house. And it's using literally bloodstreams or bloodlines to connect those ideas. And I brought up this kind of rough thing I found on the internet that someone made of the Targaryen lineage, kind of from what we already know from the show. So
this is interesting.
It is interesting. So if you look kind of in the center left, you see Viserys Targaryen, and right below him is his daughter, Rhaenyra. That's kind of where we're at. And there's another one that's off screen. It's Daemon, and I did not want to spoil anything.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't want to show you where Damon's lineage goes.
All right.
All right. So
very cool.
So I actually looked at this without the crop, and it spoiled things for me.
Oh no.
Just looking at this. So I purposely only got the information we already know. So as you can see, like you have Alicent off of to one side, off to the side, the right of Viserys there. And you see Aegon the second, Helena, Aemond, Darion. And those are his children that he's having with Alicent. So we also see Alicent's kids below her that she has with Strong. So, or at least if you saw the recent episode, it's Strong.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Strong.
So the intro is actually telling us a story each time. It's actually keeping up with what's current information that we have. So when bloods kind of surround or fill up these symbols that we see in the intro, it's actually showing us it's making connections on who is who in a way, as far as in the lineage of Targaryens. And I learned something that apparently when blood fills it up and submerges, I think that means that this character is dead based on where we are in the story. But
because I know that the intro changes.
Yes, it does. And here's like one that's filled up with blood that signifies death at this point for the story.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's leading everything together. And actually, I believe this one represents Rhaenyra, because I don't have a picture of it, but Rhaenyra is given a necklace, I think in episode 2, with this symbol on it. So this one's actually representing Rhaenyra, I believe. So it's kind of something fun that you can decode each episode to try to keep up with what's happening or what might be coming, right?
Interesting.
And so it's literally as simple as just bloodlines, symbols that represent characters, and even telling previous stories like Viserys' father. He's in the intro through his symbol as well, and that he was in the beginning of House of the Dragon episode 1. So there's some cool themes to this. There's some really awesome themes to this. So what do you think, Wyatt? What's your initial thoughts when you get this cool information?
Well, I loved the intro for Game of Thrones.
Yes,
it was
of course.
Unique. It was incredible.
Awesome maps.
One of the best intros I think ever put to TV.
Yeah.
I think this one felt a little underwhelming, not knowing what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But as you look at it, you realize it's the model of Valyria that Viserys has been creating, and it's the bloodlines going through all the different symbols and represents something new each episode or every other episode as it changes. I think that's fun. I think that's another way to be able to enjoy the show on top of the other ones that we have.
That's right.
Plus, I've heard some things of people saying that if they do other shows about Dunk and Egg, shows about Robert's Rebellion, if they do show, the Jon Snow.
Oh, yeah, which I believe is confirmed.
They can kind of connect them all under the Game of Thrones theme.
Yeah.
So everything in Westeros, kind of the Game of Thrones theme that we're familiar with.
And in some ways, since this is the first show after officially Game of Thrones, they were the ones to make kind of that executive decision.
Yeah.
Because if another show doesn't do it, then
it'll feel weird.
It will. You can obviously, they've set the precedent. You can use whatever intro. Now there's a specific style, like animation style, that you have to bring into the intro for people to accept it with open arms. But you have to bring in the same music at this point.
Well, like you remember when, what was it? Star Wars was doing the Star Wars story movies, like Han Solo and Rogue One. They didn't do the title crawl. They didn't do the Star Wars music.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the reason that they felt a little bit disconnected from the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. It didn't prepare us subconsciously for what we were about to enjoy.
Even the sequel series feels more connected based on the titles, the scroll.
Yeah.
The title scrolling words.
Absolutely.
And the music at the beginning.
Yeah.
It didn't even, I don't think it even had to be the same music.
No.
It didn't even have to be the same style of crawl. It could have been anything. It just needed to be reminiscent.
I don't know. I feel like we need that
it.
space title crawl.
Yeah.
And that pan down to a planet or a spaceship that's coming into view.
It doesn't even have to pan. They could do anything, but they needed something to connect.
Yeah.
The world.
Absolutely.
They may have all had a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's not enough.
That's not enough.
Not for me.
Not for most people. That's basically it. Think of the Game of Thrones had a intro, same music, but it brings us into the world. It's a smart decision, but their intro had a road map of locations, whereas House of the Dragon has a road map of family tree. Does that make sense?
So also kind of a roadmap of characters.
Yes.
Because from the very beginning of the show, it was very character driven. It was, very much about Rhaenyra and Alicent and Viserys and everybody kind of close together. And
Absolutely.
Now as we get later into the show, it's going to be expanding outwards. Not the people we've seen, even though new people are going to be introduced. It's going to be expanding outwards with these characters that we're familiar with.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to finishing off the last, 4 episodes of House of the Dragon. Gosh dang it. It's exciting. Let me know in the comments what you have enjoyed about House of the Dragon. And let me know all of your thoughts about the intro, your theories about why they chose the same music. I believe we kind of nailed it on the head, but maybe we're missing something. So let us know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Ta-ta.